Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us today on Empower You TV. I'm your host, Janet Hickox, and I'm here with my co-host, Roger Wetzel. Hello, Roger.
Hi, Janet. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. Glad to be back from my 5 or 6 day vacation and getting back to work.
Wait, that wasn't a vacation, was it?
Yes.
It was more than a vacation.
It was.
What was it?
It was my anniversary. Yeah, it was my 33rd wedding anniversary. And so we spent it with family on the beach in Oregon. It was wonderful.
That's awesome.
My bedroom window looked out over the ocean. It
Nice.
was, you could sit there drinking your coffee in the morning and just look out at the ocean. It was beautiful.
Cool.
And so we did all kinds of hiking, and the weather was good, and it was a great time. I almost wanted to just live there.
Cool.
I could broadcast from it.
We have our guest sitting right here with us.
We do. Our guest is Karen McKY. And Karen, hello.
Hello there. How are you today?
I'm really good,
Karen.
thank you. And Karen has been with me before. If you'll remember when we were doing Living Astrology Radio, Karen came on and talked to us about PsychK. And so she's been here before. Although now today we're going to take it into a little bit different direction, because the month of April we decided was going to be all about money. So the people that you will be hearing us interview this week is, yes, I hear it. My internet connection.
You're totally frozen. And now, when I said that, you came back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta love technology.
It's telling me my internet connection is unstable, but can you see me okay now?
Yeah, you're doing great, but when you went into that whole introduction, you just froze up. We could hear you, but we couldn't see you.
So what should we do? Start over? And you can edit that part out? All
Yeah.
right. I'm going to close that out and hoping. Can you see me okay now, though?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. So,
do
I have to start over from the beginning? I mean, was it right in the beginning that it did that?
No, it was. We probably should start over, because I don't know if we're going to be able to edit that out. So.
Okay. All right. So we're going to start over. Take 2. Where's our little placard? Take 2. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Living as.
We could do outtakes of this show,
Should we do a blooper reel?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, what are you drinking that's blue?
It's a blue glass with water.
Oh. All right, here we go again.
You know you're going to screw it up, right?
No, Roger.
This is why I love Roger. All
Okay,
right.
let's go, because it's getting hot in here.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Empower You TV. I'm your host, Janet Hickox, and I'm here with my guest host, Roger Wetzel. Hello, Roger.
Hi, Janet. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
And we have our guest with us today, Karen McKy. Hello, Karen.
Hello, Janet, and hello, Roger. Happy to be with you.
It's really good to
Glad
have you,
you.
Karen. For everybody that's tuned in today, we are talking about money. That is our theme for the month of April. Considering here in the United States we have tax time, so we decided that the whole month of April would be devoted to talking about subjects about money. Today's title of the show is really interesting: Money, the Root of All Evil, or is it? And our guest, Karen, who is a PsychK instructor as well as a facilitator, right? You do both.
Yeah.
Will be taking us through what that means and maybe helping us get a better grip on how we can change our beliefs a little bit around money. So let me first introduce you to Karen. Karen is an internationally certified PsychK instructor who teaches all PsychK courses. Her lifelong passion for helping people access their spiritual source, reveal their true potential and personal power is evident in her engaging teaching style. A business entrepreneur for 30 years and a hypnotherapist, she utilizes PsychK to help others discover, understand, and change their perceptions and limiting beliefs to create a more dynamic future using the life-changing processes of PsychK. Wow. You're a life changer, right, Karen?
You betcha, babe.
I want to go to you.
All right. Well, it's just part of helping people really become empowered. You've got a great name for your TV program, and it's really all about helping people become empowered.
Yeah, thank you. That's kind of what we like to do.
Yeah.
So there's two things here. One, I want you to sort of introduce us to yourself and how you came to know Psych-K. And then for those people out there who have maybe never heard of Psych-K, tell us a little bit about Psych-K and how that works and who developed it and what have you. And then we'll jump into all about money.
Okay. All right. So I have no idea where to start about me. Where shall I start?
The beginning.
I started off as a little girl. How far back should we go?
I was once a little girl.
Yeah.
Well, start how you got
Introduced to Psych-K.
Thank you.
There you go. All right. Well, that happened. I had several people that were checking out different kinds of, I've got people trying to buzz into me for some reason. Excuse me.
Skype.
I know. And you know what? Let me see if I can disengage that.
You can actually mute the notifications.
Good guess. Don't know how to do that, but I'll just try to be fast on the clicker. So anyway, I got started on Psych-K through a business group that I was part of. And this business group met on Thursday mornings, and it was called Business Honoring Spirituality, which was really a neat deal. And we would meet every Thursday morning and had different speakers, etc. Well, somebody within a group had gone to a Psych-K workshop and thought it was wonderful, and then got several other people to go to a Psych-K workshop, etc. I just had no interest in it. I was currently, at that time, doing hypnotherapy work. Mm-hmm. And I had, all of my energy was focused in that direction. I didn't want to be distracted. And so there was one wonderful person named Jessica who kept coming up and literally pulling on my shirt sleeve every Thursday morning saying, "You've got to check this out. Have you checked it out yet?" And I kept telling her, "No, thanks, but no, not interested." She just kept after me, though, every week. So that finally, I shut her down. And as I like to say it, Spirit had to use another door because I shut that door. And Spirit had to use another door to get into me. So what happened is Bruce Lipton was coming to town, although I did not know the name. And I had signed up for Hay House Publishing information, workshops and different things that were going on with them. Mm-hmm. And I got a notification that Greg Braden, who I was very interested in, was coming to Denver, which is where I live. And so I said, I've got to go see that. And Bruce Lipton was listed as one of the speakers, and I didn't have a clue who he was. And turned around and asked my husband if he'd ever heard of that guy. And he was ecstatic, and he said, "Oh my God, he's coming to Denver. We've got to go." And I said, "You know this guy?" And he says, "Absolutely, he's fabulous. We've got to go. Buy the tickets, buy the tickets." So I bought the tickets, and we went in May of 2009 to go hear Bruce Lipton speak. And it was a fascinating thing because Bruce Lipton was really sharing about our beliefs and how our biology is affected by our beliefs. And so that made me pay attention because he was talking about science. He's a biologist, a cellular biologist.
Yeah.
And quite well known, reviled by most of the medical community, but but that's okay because he's one that shakes up things. And so he caught my attention, and there were some little CDs or DVDs in the back of the room. And we picked up a couple of those and went home and watched it. And at the end of that program, he introduces Psych-K, and I went, "Oh my God!" After the program was over, I watched the part about Psych-K, and I said, "Oh my God, this is what I've been telling Jessica no about." And my face was on the floor, my jaw had dropped. I was just like, how could I have told her no? So that's how we got introduced to Psych-K. And Bruce was coming back to Denver in July, so that was May. Coming back to Denver in July, and we decided to go to hear him speak again. He was doing 2 days of science about our biology and beliefs, and then that was going to be followed up with a 2-day basic workshop by Rob Williams, who is the originator of Psych-K. So we said, okay, let's figure that out. So we went, and oh my God, the world changed. Everything changed for us, literally everything.
Yeah. So that began your whole process of taking classes, and eventually you become a facilitator or an instructor even. You're teaching other people how to do Psych-K. Are
Yeah.
you're teaching instructors, right? Aren't you teaching the teachers?
Well, no, not exactly. I teach people that are wanting to learn about Psyche,
Hmm.
and then on occasion I get to go and assist with some of the instructor trainings, but um, I'm more there for support than instructing them.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is Psyche?
What is Psyche? Great question. In a nutshell, it's a set of spiritually based processes that allow us to change limiting beliefs at the subconscious level, which is where all of our functioning beliefs are stored and active. It's like we're like mini computers running around, and we've got these programs stored within our system, and we're accessing these programs all the time, although we don't really realize that's what we're doing. And they're just running under the surface. We don't see them until we see the results of them. And then we don't like the results and we go, why did I do that? So Psyche helps us change those limiting beliefs at the subconscious level so that we can live a happier, more productive, more effective, beautiful, wonderful life.
So one of the things that I heard you say before we started recording here, you mentioned something about human software.
Yeah, well, I'd like to save that for just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, but our software is our subconscious, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when we start talking about Psyche, we're dealing often with beliefs, right? That we hold about anything from relationships to our own health, and in particular to today's show is about money. But where do those beliefs come from? And because there are several levels of consciousness, if we wanted to change those beliefs, which one are we going to access?
Great question. Well, in Psyche, we're working with 3 levels of consciousness, and those 3 levels are our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, and then what we in Psyche call the superconscious mind, which is kind of a generic term for universal mind, God, whatever you like to call it. So even people that are not spiritually based people or would not consider themselves to be religious in any way, shape, or form still can use these processes, because deep within us we all have something that we tie into, whether it's called our gut instinct or whether it's called our just our inner knowing.
Mm-hmm.
We have a way of tapping into that. So
and so when we are working with Psyche, are we tapping into all 3 of those levels?
actually, yes.
Nice.
We do. So it's a very holistic process. That's one of the things I really love about this, because we can't really separate ourselves from our spiritual realm. We can't really separate ourselves from our conscious mind or our subconscious mind. It's a total complete package. We just have to understand that we've got varying aspects, and each of those varying aspects, we work differently with that. So,
but we have access to all 3. We just have to get there in a different way for each one. So Psyche then seems to be sort of an umbrella for helping us with all 3 levels.
Right.
Got it. So let's turn it a little bit towards money now and talk about what are some of the most common beliefs that you see people have around money. And then we'll talk more about how Psyche can actually help with this.
Sure, you bet. Well, in preparation for our conversation today, I was really working, and I'm going to look on some notes if you guys don't mind a little bit, just so I can stay on track.
No, go right ahead.
One of the biggest things when we were putting this conversation together was the title. And the title in itself is "Money is the root of all evil." That is a very predominant belief, especially in the American culture. Mm-hmm. And I would guess probably in a lot of other cultures too. Mm-hmm. And there is a biblical basis for this, and it's misunderstood. It's actually misinterpreted. And I looked it up last night just to have the exact quote. And it comes from the Bible. It comes from 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10, and it says, "For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evils." So we've abbreviated that to be the love of money is the root of all evil, and that's really more what people were taught initially if they were going to churches and stuff. But then we've distorted that belief to be money is the root of all evil. So we go back to understanding the origination that the love of money is the root of all evil. that's really where we get tangled up, because that leads us then into greed and competition and bullying, and then that takes us into unworthiness, and from unworthiness that takes us right into lack and limitation. So beliefs that would tie into these things could be some of the following. Greed might be, I have it, you don't. This is mine, you can't have it. And the one with the most toys wins.
Yeah, we hear that one a lot, right?
Yeah, the one with the most toys wins. And then if you go into competition and bullying, it might be something like, I win, you lose. I deserve more than you. You're a loser, or I'm a loser. And I'm not as good as other people. And competition then takes us into unworthiness. I'm not worthy enough to have money in my life. Other people deserve money more than me, and I don't deserve to have money in my life. So those are, some unworthiness things. And then lack and limitation, we might see that, I'm not a good money manager. Money flows through my fingers like water. There's never enough money. That one I hear a lot in classes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't save money. It's here today, gone tomorrow, and I can't live within my means. So then, we've got other things about not deserving a good job. I'm never going to receive a promotion that I need. I'll never earn enough money or have a good income. So those are some of the big things that people really are dealing with. And of course, that takes us into not having the houses that we want, the cars we want, etc. We don't have enough money for the children to help them do what they want to do. And so we just get sucked into this dark hole where we feel like, I can't win for losing.
I remember my mom and dad always saying things like, money doesn't grow on trees. I mean, if I needed something for school or I wanted something, it was always like, what do you think? Money grows on trees? So,
Yes,
I even think, I wanted to say, yes, it does. So you get, with these kind of beliefs are passed on down to us.
Yeah, they really are.
It's interesting. I was having a conversation with some guys. I was up in Canada over the weekend, and I think Canadians have the same problem we do, but when it comes to money. But I think, one of the things that we were talking about is I had read a book. Roger Moore wrote a book, the documentary person, Roger Moore. And one of the things that he wrote in there is that as Americans, we have been indoctrinated to believe that eventually there's a possibility that we will all be millionaires.
Yeah, I think that's a very important thought.
And when you come from that, when you have that in the back of your mind, all of a sudden that creates a lot of problems in regards to lack and limitation and beliefs like, I don't have enough money, or I should have a bigger car, I should have a better job, or whatever it is, I should have a bigger house.
Yeah.
The whole thing with their toys. It's like we bought into this idea that because we're not this, then we're not good enough, which is kind of, I think, what you're alluding to in that list of things that you've read off.
Mm-hmm. Now, to me, though, a lot of that sounds like it's in our conscious mind, right? And I could probably change my mind very quickly around something that's in my conscious. But there is something probably deeper going on behind that underlies everything that has to do with money beliefs. Since we're dealing with money beliefs, it would happen with the other beliefs, I'm sure, too. So how does that get embedded so deeply in the subconscious mind, then, that it becomes this issue for your entire life, perhaps, until you come across something like McKY that can help you change it?
Right. Well, we've got the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious, like we were talking about. And as infants, and actually even in utero, we are picking up the energy of the environment that we're coming into. And our subconscious is alive and well even when we are in utero. So we come into our environment and then we start experiencing the family dynamic. We experience our mother and father's tension, and actually even in utero we're experiencing the mother's tension, of course. And our body and our brain and everything is developing based on the levels of tension or stress that our mother is going through. So, and that's all in Bruce Lipton's book, The Biology of Belief. You can read more about that if you want. So anyway, we're coming into this environment, and once we're born, we are then part of the environment. We're picking up our father's ideas and energies. We're picking up our mothers. We're picking up grandparents. We're picking up the TV if the TV's playing. Now, we might not have the language, of course, at that point to understand it, but the subconscious is actually pretty amazing. It is understanding so much more than our conscious mind understands. So the subconscious is really what is absorbing all of the information. It's a very incredibly fast processor of information. It's a million times more rapid in its processing capabilities than the conscious mind. So it's like 40 million bits of information per second. So that's pretty darn fast. Right? So
yeah.
The conscious mind is processing about 4 million bits of information per second, but the subconscious is processing 40 million. So it's incredibly fast. So it's absorbing tons of information. And we're picking up all of this. We're understanding the vibe our parents have. We're the words and the language that we pick up. I mean, think about just language alone. We have all of that language stored, and we're communicating outwardly with our parents and other people very well by age 2. Some kids are even reading, some little books by age 2. We're thinking, wow, if they're doing it by age 5, they're doing really good. But kids these days are super impressive when they're reading very, very early now.
Yeah, put a computer in front of one.
You got it. It's like they come in wired, ready to do that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the subconscious then, so we must be, there must be something that, we're very porous or something where we're absorbing so much more than what our conscious mind is aware of.
Yeah. The conscious mind doesn't really kick into gear until we start producing beta brainwave activities, and that doesn't start until we're approximately age 6 or 7. So we're not really consciously focused until about that time frame, and it varies from child to child, but that's an approximate time frame. Yeah,
it's amazing.
And the other thing too, in regard to this is that, in some of the things that I'm working on and putting together, one of the ideas is like our minds are like radio receivers.
Yep.
And it's not only our parents and the TV and our grandparents, it's the collective planetary thought about money and lack of that. It's like Eckhart Tolle says, if you have a thought, all of a sudden, whatever is floating out in the collective is going to be attracted to that. Yeah. So imagine like there's 7 billion people and, 6.999 billion people have this belief that's lack of money that's floating around in the consciousness. You're going to be tuned into that, and it's going to be overwhelming, I think. Is that kind of what you found, Karen?
Well, we have a very sophisticated system, and our brain is picking up the information and processing it through the hardware kind of a piece that we were alluding to a few moments ago. But the software, the subconscious, is actually an energy field. It is not something that you can find in the body somewhere. So our subconscious, if you can, and it's a bit of a mind warp, I know, but hang in there with me. The subconscious really is an energy field. So this subconscious is in communication, direct communication at all times with this collective consciousness you're talking about. So we're uploading our thoughts into the collective consciousness. And if you could imagine that being as this, like a big vat of information, and we also download from the collective consciousness. So yeah, it's like we've got a little antenna, and we actually do have a column of cells that go from the thalamus up to the top of the head. You know where the baby's soft spot is?
Yeah.
All right. So if you remember where that soft spot is, that's where this little antenna of this column of cells goes up through here, and it's like our antenna. So we're picking up the signals of the entire universe.
It's a wonder we're not crazy.
Well,
yeah. We are.
Yeah, we are. So we're going to take a short break here, and we ask that you join us for part 2, where we're going to talk a little bit more about the beliefs about money and how all of that got started.